Hi there, Rams. This is Mr. Bunt for another math lesson. And today it's lesson 19. And the objective is I can draw kites and squares to clarify their attributes and define kites and squares based on those attributes. We're going to add another two-dimensional figure to our list. And so far, we took notes on what parallel lines are, but we took notes on what a quadrilateral is, what a trapezoid is, what a parallelogram is, and then we also looked at what a rhombus is. And if you recall from the last lesson, a rhombus is a figure with four sides that are equal. And rhombuses don't have to have 90-degree angles in them. If they did have 90-degree angles in them, that would then be considered a square. So in the math world, the technical definition of a square is, let me get my expo marker here, is that it's a four-sided, it's a four-sided figure, but it's a rhombus, which we know as a four-sided figure, and it has four right angles. That's what a square is. That's the true definition of what a square is. And of course, we all know that squares also have equal sides, and that's what makes it a rhombus, because that's what a rhombus is. Today, we're going to look at what a kite is. Obviously, we all know kites as something we can fly on a windy day, but in the mathematical world, a kite is a quadrilateral, four-sided figure, in which two consecutive, right after another, sides have equal length. So, for example, if I drew a kite like so, and then these two sides, they're right next to each other, are equal length. We'll call that 2 centimeters, and this will be 2 centimeters. So from there to there, and then from there to there. And then, to make this a kite, we'll draw longer side lengths. There's the third side, and then there's the fourth side. And then these two side lengths need to be equal measure as well. So we'll say that's 6 centimeters from there to there. And then over here, this will also be 6 centimeters. So a quadrilateral, which two consecutive sides have equal length. And the other two remaining sides are of equal length as well. That is the definition of what a kite is. Now, something I want to mention to you is can a square be a kite? Yes, it can. Technically, a square can be a kite. Obviously, this is not a square when we look at it. So that's the time where a kite actually isn't a square. But there are other times where technically, yes, in the math world, a kite is, or a square is a kite. So, I mean, if you think about it, if this square has a width here of 1 centimeter, and then obviously the length is going to be 1 centimeter, and over here it's going to be 1 centimeter, there it's 1 centimeter. As long as this is a quadrilateral and it has two consecutive sides of equal length, we have one here, we have one there, technically that makes a square a kite. So in the math world, all kites are indeed, all squares are indeed kites. And all rhombuses are also kites in a sense. Because if it's a rhombus, as long as there's no 90-degree angles, so if they're all 3, 3, 3, and 3, that's a rhombus. If these aren't 90-degree angles, that's why it's a rhombus. I mean, technically, that's a kite because it has two consecutive sides of equal length. So that's just a little, just an interesting fact there about these types of figures and how their definitions come to play in the math world. That is the only new figure I have for you today, kids. Let me quickly write down that's a rhombus. And then here's a kite. And then here's a square. So take a look in your green workbook, page 281, lesson 19. Template 1 has what I was just talking to you about, how all these figures fit together. All of them are quadrilaterals. You can see square is inside of a rhombus, but it's also inside of kites, it's inside of rectangles, it's inside of parallelograms, it's inside of trapezoids, and it's inside of quadrilaterals. So squares meet all the definitions of those figures. And then it goes so on and so forth there. So that's page 281. Check it out in your green workbook. For your assignment today, I'm not asking you to go on to IXL, but what I would like you to do is lesson 19, sprint, A and B. It's pages 274 and 275. I'd like you to do the sprint there. It's multiplying by multiples of 10 and 100. Just remind yourself, just add the zeros at the end. Multiply the numbers that aren't zeros, then add the zeros there, and then you'll be good to go. So go ahead and do the sprint, and then afterwards log on to Zern and take care of a lesson. And if you have more time, maybe do 2 lessons today. Well, kids, this is actually going to be my last math video that I will present to you on Google Classroom for quite some time. Because starting on Monday, I'm going to start posting a PowerPoint for you kids to look at. And it's a PowerPoint that all the 5th grade teachers put together, and it covers all the subject areas: math, reading, science, social studies. There's even your related arts classes in there. There's a lot of content, and then you can do each day. And that's going to be posted for you on Monday morning when you wake up. And I just want to say that the math on that PowerPoint is going to go all the way back to the very first lesson I did online for you. So you're going to go all the way back to volume. And I do know you're going to be working on IXL there. So going forward, math is going to be a lot of review, just so you know. So it's important that when you go in and look at your PowerPoint on your Chromebook, whatever we have for you in terms of what to do for math that week, it's going to be review. So go back to my math lessons and look at them, look back at my math videos, and just take a look. And while you're working on IXL on those review assignments, then you'll be able to just double check yourself and just see what Mr. Bunt taught you in previous lessons. We are way ahead of some other classes. So going forward, it's just going to be a lot of review for math. Eventually, you're going to start doing some things that I have not covered yet. And when that does happen, I will post a math video on Google Classroom when the time is right, just so you have a few other examples to see outside of what we give to you on your PowerPoint. So that might be 3 weeks down the road. I'm not sure, but the consistent 3 math lessons a week is going to cease. It's going to stop going forward from me. But you still have all the math videos I have presented in the past just to take a look at and just remind yourself of how to do those particular problems. So it's going to be review going forward. If you have any questions, please present them to your parents, and then they can message me on Class Dojo. So be on the lookout for that PowerPoint on Google Classroom on Monday morning. And this will be Mr. Bunt signing off for a math lesson for probably the foreseeable future. So I would probably say give it about 3 weeks, and maybe in 3 weeks, maybe 4, you'll see another math lesson with new content, with new stuff to learn. But as of now, this was the last thing. So good luck, kiddos, and keep working hard and keep doing math every single day. If it's just 30 minutes, that's fine. I'm asking you to, and I'm suggesting to you just to keep up with your studies so you're ready to go when school does pick up again someday. All right, this is Mr. Bunt signing off. Have a great rest of your day, kids. See ya.